We're breaking down anything and everything Utica City FC related. This is the Keeper's Corner podcast with your hosts, Matt Sterling and Brandon Brooks. Let's get into it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a St. Patrick's Day themed episode of the Keeper's Corner podcast. We got Matt here and Brandon. He seems to be rolling in the clover.
God, I was really hoping I could just pull the Homer Simpson and just disappear into the clovers, but no such luck.
Your green screen's looking awfully green there, lad.
Yeah, it should. I meant it to be that way.
Oh, I can't do this the whole show.
No, I hope you don't.
Thank you. Okay, that was fun while it lasted. We'll worry about that more on next week and Sunday and whatever, but...
I know I'm probably a little quiet, so I'm trying to rectify that. There we go. That'll fix that.
It's all good.
I was trying to do it ahead of time.
Brandon, how you doing, my guy?
This weekend was busy.
Yeah, you made a little road trip there yourself, I see.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. We went down to Harrisburg for a couple of days. Figured, this was a good opportunity to not only go see the boys play in Harrisburg, but also we got to watch Harrisburg actually beat Baltimore. So I'd like to, say we had something to do with that. But, they had a great crowd that night. I'm going to be honest with you. I think their estimate was saying they had 2,000 people there, and I believe it. It was a full house. And so, Saturday night was a lot of fun. We bought a couple of jerseys in the auction. I grabbed Maldini's, who is, of course, a Krasnick player that got loaned out to Harrisburg. More on him later. And Michelle ended up picking up good old Joey Tavernisi's, who... Oh, we're going to have to wash that. That thing is sweaty. So we're just going to have to wash it and have him sign it again because, that thing is sweaty. And, of course, she also picked up Jorge Navarrete's. So we got a keeper jersey, a regular jersey, and then I bought a jersey. So, and nice. I liked the way it looked, and I figured, it's a St. Patty's Day-ish episode, so I figured this is the only St. Patty's Day jersey I got, so that's what we're going with.
Yeah, it's I give them credit. They went all in on their jerseys for St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, they did. They had some sweet jerseys. So, but no, it was a fun trip. Got to talk to didn't get to talk to Joey much. He was kind of in and out as soon as the game ended. Talked to Dom Francis a little bit, chatted him up as usual. Talked to a couple of the guys, including a couple of the returning faces. Ronaldinho, which was so nice to see him on the field again. And yeah, it was... Talked to Healy's father as well. Chatted with him a little bit. Got to go down on that turf, which, wow, that is hard. That turf is not anywhere near Utica's. It is tough, so I can see why it's such a difference playing there versus playing probably literally anywhere else, honestly. So,
yeah, except maybe the Outlaws.
Yeah,
because they're on a rodeo floor.
Yeah, that'd be very. I think that would be very similar. So, if anyone's wondering, it's definitely as hard as it looks. It is hard dirt underneath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys had a good weekend. You got to watch Baltimore lose and Utica win.
The only thing was that with Baltimore losing is that, I did feel bad for. Obviously, we have a couple of friends on the team. Pat Thompson. He was pretty upset after the game. Julian was stoked because we made a sign that just said, "I'm here for Scott Sterling," and he saw that beginning of the game. Just brightened right up, just super excited. And then after the game, he was like, "I want a picture with that. We're getting a picture with that. Come on, let's go." So, but no, Julian is as always. He's always a great sport. But yeah, Pat. I know Pat was definitely, irritated with his team's performance that night. So, I mean, I get it. I could see why. I mean, they were not up to snuff against Harrisburg that night.
Yeah, they've lost what, like 5 of 6, and
Yeah.
they just struggle at Harrisburg.
Yes. I always anticipate them losing one at Harrisburg every year because that is kind of par for the course. That's typically what happens. Harrisburg just ends up getting their number at one time out of the year.
Yeah, you just kind of expect them to drop at least 4 points
Mm-hmm.
because they go to overtime a lot, and
Yep.
they just don't like that hard turf, big field.
No, they had been doing good this season until Saturday.
Yep.
So
Now, Brandon, I guess we should talk about the team that we're actually here to talk about, though.
probably.
Probably, yeah. Utica escaped with a 7-5 win, and I mean, it certainly was. I don't want to say it back and forth. I mean, on paper, back and forth. Harrisburg goes up. Utica comes back to tie it and take the lead. Harrisburg ties it and takes the lead. Utica comes back to take the lead and hold it out at a tug of war. Never more than a 2-goal lead either way, and yeah, I would say the general consensus was, well, we got 3 points. That's good.
I did. So, it was definitely a back and forth. It was never an opportunity where the three of us, Michelle Huber and myself, there was never a time when we felt confident that we were going to power through. I mean, it all started when we saw the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when we saw no Gordy, we saw no Vinny. That one surprised me a lot. We still saw no Logan. It was, I think that's when the nerves kind of kicked in. Like, oh man, this could be bad. But as as your title says, Utica's depth was tested, and they actually came to, they actually passed the test, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
To an extent.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. My stat that tells the story is, you get 16 players on a game day roster. Take away your 2 keepers, you have 14 field players. Of those, 8 of Utica's field players are either rookies or have less than 10 games playing experience.
Yep.
So, like, Panal and Murshad Ahmadi have passed that 10 game, but they're still in their rookie season.
Yes, they are.
So, very familiar feeling if you remember what it was like Rochester when they were out there for the 1 year up in M1.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was like, yep, a lot of these guys don't have a ton of indoor experience. And it was nice to get that win, even if it wasn't the most convincing.
Right. When this team was firing on all cylinders, they looked good.
Mm-hmm.
When they weren't, they didn't. And it's funny because the scoreline, you can literally see when they were firing and when they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, you had Orozco who had, I think this was his first game this season,
Yes.
but he had 3 last season. So, I mean, he's not a rookie, but he also has not seen the field much. Manny Silva, we had him come out. I believe this was first time. No, he's played a few games.
He's
Never
played
mind.
a couple games.
But
I think he debuted with like the Harrisburg game right before the Chihuahua ones.
Yeah, but still rookie season.
Yes.
We had Ronnie come back, which again was great to see. I know it's not his rookie season, but he has not played that many games this season. He's only played 11 of our games, so I guess he's played more than I thought. I just never apparently see him.
Yeah, he hasn't played since Milwaukee.
Yeah, so
That's the big thing.
It's just been a little while, so it's good to see him back on the field. But
Yep.
it's also, again, his first game back on the field. Mohamed Hamada, there was another one that was semi new to the field. So it was definitely, I mean, this was literally his first game. So definitely a lot of fresh new faces. Kyle Gingrich, another one that's only had, this is his second game. Sorry, I just keep noticing him because I'm thinking about who I saw on the field, and I'm looking at the roster, and I'm like, yeah, there was a lot of fresh faces on that field. So, but then we had, our somewhat veterans, with Keaton, with Nilton, Juan. I mean, it was just, and they were the ones that stepped up. I mean, they all stepped up, frankly, but this was a depth test. I know I keep taking your title, but it was a depth test, and they did a good job. They really did. I did see a little bit of an attitude change from Nilton from the looks of it, which was nice to see because I did complain about that last time. So he seemed to have his head in the game this time versus last time where he was kind of, disagreeing with his own teammates, which was a problem. But sorry, went off track. A lot of fresh faces, but they did a good job.
Yeah.
So,
do you have a stat that tells the story for you?
remember how we always say that the team plays like 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Look at the score line. There was the first 20 minutes, we'll say, with nothing from Utica. And then you have we'll call it, not including halftime, we'll call it like a 20-minute burst between the second and third quarters. And then you have another, basically the rest of the third quarter and about 10 minutes into the fourth quarter. I'm sorry, not 10 minutes. You have another maybe 5-10 minutes of not much, and then another burst. And that's where our 7 goals came from. But when they were not when they weren't, we'll say, bursting or performing, then that's when we saw all the Harrisburg goals. We saw the Kerstetter, Dom Francis getting a couple, including a shootout, things like that. And then you just saw these bursts of goals coming from them. So, I mean, to me, my stat was just, I was basically going to say 3 and 4, 3 unanswered, 4 unanswered. And that's how we won this game, was just those bursts of time when we actually were really firing on all cylinders. Tyler, to answer that sort of kind of, more on that later, but
Yes.
I didn't want to just leave you hanging. More on that later. But yes, he has been out injured for a little while, but we'll get to that. Promise.
Yes. We'll be doing a state of the roster look here when we're done with our recap.
Yeah, I didn't want to leave it hanging out there in air.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that if you didn't.
But yeah, that's my stat. Sort of, kind of. It's not really a stat, but you get it.
I mean, it is. There was, like you said, like that offensively, there was just stretches where the team was gone again, and it really was defensively the last. They take the lead last 9 minutes of the game, really, that they locked it down.
Yep.
But yeah, for the depth, they probably played closer to, like you pointed out, like 40 minutes instead of 30 minutes.
Yep.
Which is a good sign. We'll move on to our second part of the recap. Brandon, what is your play that changed the game?
So I was actually trying to find the exact timestamp, but so there was a time in the third quarter when we had just gone up 6-5. And
fourth quarter.
Was it fourth quarter? Yes,
Yeah.
It was fourth quarter.
About 3 minutes.
You are correct. Where there was kind of a kerfuffle in front of our goal. Basically, they were awarded. Harrisburg was awarded a not a shootout, but just a penalty just outside the box from Healy. Healy kind of got into it with the players, with the refs, Dos Santos a little bit. Don't think this was when he would have won the Oscar for getting quote unquote throat punched by Andrew Coughlin, because that definitely did not happen. We were literally right there to watch it. But basically, this play, in my mind, is the one that turned the story of this game, because if they had scored there on that set piece, it would have been tied back up again. It would have been a whole new ball game. But the fact that we held that particular opportunity, we did not let them score. I think that is what really changed the tide of this, because it wasn't too long after when we ended up scoring again. And so because of that, that's what really kind of brought the whole game together, versus if they had scored there and then we scored again later, it would have still felt more in reach than what it was. So I think that was really the one that changed it for me.
Okay. I'm gonna go a little bit earlier, and it's kind of leads up to the weird thing. It's the quick answer from Pinal and Ronaldinho right after the shootout,
Yep.
which that shootout could have taken the sail right out of this team, the wind
Yep.
right out of their sails. You just went down to that was yeah. I talked about it in the first game where Kelvin got the double blue card.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one, I was like, yeah, it's a blue card, literally because it's just the last defender, even if it is a soft foul. It's the same kind of situation here, where Ricky, on the replay, I mean, he barely scraped the foot or ankle of Ozzy.
Yeah.
I mean, just barely. You might have been able to put a piece of paper in there and nothing else. And they give him the shootout. You go down 5-3, you're back in a 2-goal hole for the second time this game. And then Utica comes out and answers to bring it back within 1 in 20 seconds.
Yep.
And then literally a minute 20 after that, Amadi ties it back up.
Yes.
But it was that first quick answer that's like, all right, we're not going to let this get us down. Yeah, they just ripped off 3 goals in a row, but we're still in this.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we've done the same earlier on in the game. They ripped off a couple of goals. We ripped off 3. Then they ripped off 3. Now it's time for us to apparently get 4.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, ticky-tack foul. For the sake of being consistent, I agree, blue card, shootout, because he had beaten Alava. Alava was not going to turn around and catch back up.
Right.
He was past the defense at that point. Very soft foul, but we've seen it. It's that last defender foul. It's a blue card.
Yes.
I have less questions about that than how Coughlin got away with the handball at midfield and didn't get a blue.
Yeah.
Did we get that explained at all? Because
not really.
The best I've seen is Tommy on Facebook in a response being like, they called a foul on Andrew. I'm like, okay, that's not a foul. It's an intentional handball by the goalkeeper outside of the box. That's a blue card, right?
I mean, to me, it definitely felt like it should have been.
Okay.
I mean, it literally looked like he kind of, scooped it.
Yeah.
Maybe not intentionally scooped it, because he was coming down and catching himself on his elbow. So maybe that's the only saving grace there, is that it wasn't that he was throwing his hand out intentionally to stop the ball, but was actually going down in a somewhat natural position,
Hmm.
because naturally you're going to try and cushion your own fall by putting
Right.
your arm out. So my only thought there is that that is a, as they say, natural position for you to be going down if you're falling. And so because of that, because of the positioning of it and just the, I guess, logic behind it, that's why it wasn't anything more than a foul. But I was just as surprised as everyone else that that was not a blue. Now, the people saying that he was like, it would have been like last defender and stuff, I mean, he was going the opposite direction with the
Yeah.
ball. So if he was dribbling back to his own goal, maybe different story, but he wasn't. So,
Yeah, I mean, all kinds of stuff was coming out in the chats about this.
yeah.
No one was named specifically, but so he's like, yeah, one of these officials has already been in trouble for trying to fix a game when Orlando was still in the game league to try to make them win so that maybe they'd have fans show up and not fold.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why is that guy in the league at all then?
It's a good question.
Uh, what needs improvement? I'm going to take this pretty quickly. I
Okay.
think two key things. The slow start, again,
Hmm.
dug yourself a hole. This team needs to get healthy, man. Depth
Yeah.
is fine against like Harrisburg and, when you get Texas later in to end the season, but this roster, if that's the ones you're running out against, I mean, at the moment you'd be matched up against San Diego, I think, in the standings for the playoffs.
Yes.
That this roster ain't cutting it against that.
No. No. That, unfortunately, we definitely would not be very confident going against a San Diego or, a Kansas City or a Chihuahua. Not where we're at.
I mean, any given day for any sport and any team and any league, but just because it can happen doesn't mean it's likely to. Uh, just we gotta get healthy. I mean, Gordy finally got put on the injury list last week, which, if that's the case, just keep him on the injury list.
Yeah.
Don't take him off and then not play him at all. Um, Vinny was listed as probable and ended up being a scratch.
Yeah, that surprised me because, I mean, usually, almost always, whenever we see somebody as probable, they play.
Yeah.
Because it's probable. So the fact that probable turned into he wasn't playing was definitely a surprise.
Hmm. As we talked about, Logan's been listed with a concussion, as upper, which we found out is a concussion. Um, Nate missed time. He wasn't on the list this week. So is he healthy? Are they just being cautious?
He did travel.
Okay.
He was there.
That feels like a questionable. Just put these guys on the availability report.
Yeah.
You've seen other teams do it where they have their entire roster practically listed.
That
That's
was
fine.
just being petty.
I don't care. I would still rather be like, all right, pretty much everybody's dinged up, than assume that they're at 90%
Right.
or better, and then it's like, oh no, he's got a bit of a hitch in his step, and he doesn't look too good after he stopped fast. Maybe
He's
that
missing a
ankle was
leg.
already injured. Yeah, like just it's not even about transparency for the fans. At this point, it's about being able to, we have a national broadcast now on Golazo.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be able to give everybody, the broadcasters, the people watching, your potential new sponsors or potential new ownership groups,
Right.
they need the best information available.
Agreed.
And
Yeah.
if you're withholding that for just lack of care, or just well, if we had just listed as lower, no one will know that it's this and not this, or
Right. Which I don't know what you gain from that.
yeah, If it's a knee injury, tell me it's a knee injury.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, okay, well, that's, ACL, MCL, LCL. They're going to be out a little while longer. If it's a quad, it's going to be a quad. If it's a hammy, boy, those things can linger for months.
Mm-hmm. Which, speaking of injuries,
Yeah.
thoughts to Malcolm Harris, because he broke something.
Yeah, hopefully it's something that he's probably done for the season.
Yeah.
Um, it's unfortunate. You never like to see people get injured like that. But
Yeah, he was in a boot
yeah,
before the end of the game even. So he, we saw him go down, and then, the fact that not only did he stay down, he got pulled off the field, and then, like I said, by the end of the game, he's in a boot.
hmm
And from what I heard, he broke something. So it's like that you don't want to see that. So,
yeah,
again, just on the topic of injuries,
yeah,
thoughts and prayers. Hope you heal up soon.
exactly.
But be transparent about it.
Yeah, that's just it. I mean, just be transparent.
Yeah.
I think that's why I like baseball so much. Is they have the injury list,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not like football where they're out or they're on the injured reserve, where like they're completely basically put on an inactive roster
Yeah. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the time being. Baseball, you're basically put on the inactive roster, but you're given like, oh, it's 10 days. Okay, well, after 10 days, they're eligible to come back. Oh, it's 15 days. Okay, it's going to be a little longer. Oh, it's a 60-day. Well, they're gone for at least 2 months.
Yeah.
I wish more sports would have that. And then when you put them on, they don't have to come off immediately.
Right.
Like that's okay. 10 days is up. Well, they're still dealing with it. They can just get put back on the 10-day.
Exactly.
And you can do it retroactively in that league. Like if you get injured on Sunday and all of a sudden it's Thursday and you're still kind of a little wobbly because you rolled your ankle, you're not full speed, you got a little hitch in your gallop. All right, well, we're going to put you on the 10-day. You'll be out this week.
Yep.
But it opens up a roster spot, and I don't know, just something to throw out there for the league.
Just different little critiques and ideas that they could absolutely steal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Take it. Take it.
Brandon, so for you, what needs improvement?
Oh wow, I wasn't even actually thinking about it. I mean, you really kind of hit the nail on the head. Like, we just need to get healthy. Like, it's great, positive takeaway. Our depth pieces performed. So, kind of skipping ahead is that our depth pieces on our roster performed, and so the thing that needs to change is we need to stop having to rely on them so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't have much more to add. Honestly, I'm right with you on. We just need to get a healthy roster, and if guys are healthy, we need to play them. I.e., like if Gordy, for instance, is truly healthy, we need to play him so that we can, move towards not only playoffs but good positioning in playoffs. So.
Not even good positioning in playoffs because it's not like you get home field advantage.
No, but play
But
day.
but you play day, yep, and you also want everybody to be like in up to speed with everybody. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep.
You want that chemistry.
Yep.
You don't want players shaking off rust in the playoffs.
No, you don't.
Positive takeaway. I think you already mentioned it.
I already said it.
Is
Yep.
that we got 3 points. We didn't have Kelvin. We didn't have Vinny. We didn't have Gordy. We didn't have Logan. We didn't have Jace Berger. We didn't have Gio Alves. And we didn't have Manny Belliard.
Yeah.
We're missing a lot of regulars.
Mm-hmm.
We're missing so many regulars that Santana was our captain in this game.
Yeah, that was surprising. Not because it was Nelly, but just because, I mean, we were looking for like, okay, well, we know it's not Nate because he's on the bench.
Right.
We know it's not Vinny because he's not here. And we're looking all over the place like, where's the armband? It's not on Andrew. I'm like, who's the captain? And then we saw Nelly on the bench, like gearing up, and we saw it in his hand. It's like, ah, that's who's got it. Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna commit, I think based on experience, it makes sense. Based on player most likely to end up in the box for doing something stupid, I was like,
Listen,
I don't know.
he was a good boy.
He
Okay,
was.
he was
He
good.
was. That's- It just worries me because, he and Dos Santos are both primed to blow up at any time. So it's, uh, the other big takeaway for me, Amadi, big game. Two
Yes.
goals, 2 assists. Yeah, we talked about him when they signed him as a potential depth piece that I think my exact words were, if he can come in and give you a point a game, that's a successful signing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's now got 11 points in 11 games. So if he could just keep this pace the rest of the season, I'm going to be very happy. If he can
Agreed.
take this and run with it and build, fantastic. But, a quick side note, as you said, it was Hamada's first cap with the M1 squad, so congrats
Yep.
to Yogi on making his first appearance with the main team.
Yeah. Oh, it was, you know, it looked about as well as you would have expected it to, being the first appearance on the
Mm-hmm.
team, but overall he did all right. He did all right.
Yeah. Uh, Ricky picking up his first point. He's been dominating at M2, especially on the assists, and that's something that this team could absolutely use.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that could create. So we'll see what happens moving forward. It's a little late in the season to try to wedge new pieces in, but
One player to watch
mm-hmm.
and who I think Utica needs to bring up next season, or at least even just sign to Utica, but use an M2, is I just blanked on his name.
Is it the gentleman whose jersey you bought?
Yes,
Maldini
Maldini
Goncalves?
Goncalves. Yes, um, because if you watched that game and you didn't say, wow, this kid is aggressive, he is fast, and he's got some really decent skills handling the ball, I don't know what you were watching if you didn't see that, because I was a little nervous whenever he got the ball. I was really afraid that he was just going to dribble past some of our guys and just, or even just, muscle his way through. I mean, he was impressive, and I want him on you. Right now, he's loaned to Harrisburg from Krasnick, so he's not traded or signed, anything like that. He's just loaned. I want him on Utica next season for sure. I mean, he's got a bright future ahead of him, no question. Also, I know that there's something in the chat that I'm sure you're probably going to address with the state of the roster.
Yeah,
But
we're
I'm
done with our
again,
recap, so we're going to move on to our roster status because we have 3 weeks left in the regular season,
mhm.
and there's a lot of question marks at this moment.
Yes, there is quite a few actually.
I think we'll start on defense here because that's where a lot of question marks are, as they have been for the past couple of years.
Good old defense. We love it.
Um, so, first and foremost, Jace Berger has been moved to the inactive roster.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I have no information on this at the moment. I just noticed it yesterday, so I haven't had a chance to ask on it.
And if anyone's gonna get, oh God, why am I giant? Oh, good, we're back to this again.
We don't need the
Yeah,
Jolly Green
I just,
Giant, Brandon.
haha.
Oh, Green Giant.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's gonna have the information, I think, out of the two of us, you're definitely gonna be the source of information on that one. So, yeah, I would definitely be curious to see what's going to end up happening with him.
I'm I'm sad because he started to come into his own this year. He's looked really good at times. Some of that hesitation we saw last year, a lot of that's going away. And yeah, maybe not this year, but I would think next year he'd be poised to take a big step.
Yeah, agreed.
So hopefully it's nothing too serious, and he can be back with the team sooner rather than later.
He's not doing the beach thing, is he?
No.
No. Okay. I didn't think so because I know that it was going on, but I figured it was a,
Hmm.
you know, a thought to toss out there. I didn't see anything for him on that, so I just throwing ideas out there.
Yeah. Let's see. What other ones on defense? Logan, we said we'd talk about him. Good news on him. He should be cleared and back to play this weekend, as long as he's, in game shape.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that can help anchor the defense. But the big question for me is, where's Will Niamsi? We traded for him. What's
Yes, we
the point of
did.
adding him to the roster if you're not going to play him against the team that you just traded him from, or traded for him from?
Wow,
You
that
are
was a
going to play him
mouthful, wasn't it?
against the other team in that state when you're playing back to backs. And a good time to get him incorporated with the team and kind of get a little feel for his teammates would have been against, a bottom of the table opponent like Harrisburg, and he still didn't suit.
Yep.
So where is he? What was the point of this
Where
trade?
is he?
Are we just bailing out St. Louis because they took on a lot of financials with Frank and NDI and a few others? And we're like, yeah, we'll take a guy that we're not gonna play and give you some money.
Yeah, I
Is it?
don't like that.
My source didn't have any information on this when I talked to him, but we'll
Hmm.
see what else I can find out over the weekend. Maybe he'll suit on Sunday or Saturday since we have back to backs this weekend.
Possibly. I mean, I don't know. I question just whether or not we're going to see him this
Yeah.
season at all. I mean, at this point, it is a valid question
Um,
that we just don't have the answer to.
we keep getting questions about Calvin. We're in the same boat as everybody. We don't know. We don't. It, the last best news that I've heard was when Joey was on MASL Monday and mentioned that Calvin had to step away from the team in the future, which we now know is happening or has happened.
Yeah,
And he was
really, you don't
expecting
say.
to be back by the playoffs. But that's
Yeah,
expectations versus reality again.
right. And yeah, just whether or not that's really going to end up
Yeah.
being the case.
So we're just going to strap down and assume that he won't be back. I'd rather operate on that and then be happy and pleased and excited if he does come back. And, hopefully the team has figured things out and looks better by then.
Yeah, I mean, it basically run on the you're operating on the expect the worst and
Yeah.
hope for the best. Plan for the
Yeah.
worst, hope for the best. Yeah.
Um, Tyler, that is a fair thing to feel about bamboozled. We were sold on this guy, and the way that the roster was constructed, you would have assumed that he would be around all season, or at least the majority, not half of it.
Right.
And yeah, it feels kind of like buying that car that looks really good, and then you drive it for a week, and you're like, oh well, actually it needed brakes, and there's an issue with the transmission sticking, and under
Mm-hmm.
the hood was not good.
Although it kind of makes sense with what we've seen kind of from Utica's play style. It plays in
Mhm.
bursts. So does he. we we see him play in the first few games, then he's out for 3
Yeah.
games. Then we see a bunch of games, and then he's out for a while. So it's pretty similar.
Mhm. As for everybody else, we're waiting on the availability report, which I'm sure will fail to clear up anything.
It will be super enlightening, and it will explain everything.
I
Totally.
can't wait until we get that David Ortiz comment on it where it just says out injury.
That one is the best. What do you mean? We love that one.
Like,
Come on.
like just at that point, just put, for their designation because F you. We don't want to give you a reason. Like, that's all there is to it.
Just a big middle finger. Done. That's all you get.
But yeah, we get 2 games this weekend. Let's talk about the St. Patrick's Day promo, and then we'll do our predictions for at Baltimore and home against Harrisburg. St.
I'm not answering
Patrick's. You need to answer that question, Brandon, because there are a few things that come to my mind when SW comes up.
that. I can't.
Okay, that leads me to believe it's the second thing that my mind went to, and that is inappropriate for you to ask
You literally have no idea. You can assume all you want, and you will be wrong.
I'm sure I am.
You will be so wrong. I'll tell you later, but no, you have no idea.
All right, so St. Patrick's Day game. Gonna be pre-game activities. At 1:30, they're going to start a pub crawl in the Labatt Blue Lobby. That's the big main one with the box office and everything.
Yep.
If you visit all 3 destinations, you'll get entered to win a team signed ball, 2 beer garden upgrades, and a St. Patrick's Day jersey. And then for kids from 2 to 3 in the concourse, they're going to be doing a bunch of riddles with a scavenger hunt. You go to the fan zone, get your first clue, and go off on your adventure.
I want to do a treasure hunt. Why can't I do that? That sounds like more fun.
Well, I don't know. Are you a kid? It doesn't
At
say
heart.
that you can't be a kid and not, if you can't compete if you're not a kid.
If I'm the DD that day, I don't want to go on a pub crawl and not drink.
You can have some high quality H2O. Also, if it's pre-game, I'm sure you can sober up by the end. Plus 72.
That's a terrible mentality.
Plus 72.
Yeah. I just want to do a scavenger hunt.
Well, I say the first thing you should look for is where's the creativity with these specialty jerseys?
Why do you think I'm wearing this one?
Brandon, I mean, it doesn't fit me, but I still got my right here for when I lose a bit more weight.
Wow, you were just sitting on that one?
It just hangs out here on my chair to remind me that I gotta keep working to lose weight so that I can wear it, so that it'll annoy Kate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that it's green. But that's about all it's got. I love the promo. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the little, like, I don't know what you want to call it, like the almost Pink Panther, I guess, esque way that they executed it with Tommy. I love the promo. I think that was great. He got into it, especially in the secondary one where they did with the bagpipes. Those are great. I don't feel the same creative energy when you look at the jerseys. You look at these commercials, they're fantastic. I've always loved the media department for Utica. They're creative and they nail it almost every time, but it does not get reflected in the jersey at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought this had the like the tattoo that I believe you got. That symbol. It doesn't even have. We didn't even bring that back. I would have loved to see that again. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there could be so much more, and we're just not seeing
Like
it.
it's really hard to tell, but because the video doesn't do a good job of like focusing on it, and they haven't gotten any clean pictures of it. The best I
Right.
can tell is the white at the bottom are like fading in clovers to break it up. But wouldn't you
Mm-hmm.
want the clovers to be the green part?
Yeah, you'd kind of think that.
So I can't tell if it's just like dots or. I,
I mean, it is a nice little tease in that regard because you don't fully know what it looks like. But I mean, I would like to know before this weekend whether or not I want to set aside the money to
yeah,
get one, or if I just want to get one of those nice hoodies because the hoodies look very nice. Like I like the hoodies,
yeah. I mean,
and it's like give me an excuse to throw money at you, and I will. Utica, just give me an excuse.
I'm just. It's the same thing I said with the Riggies. Commit to the bit.
Yeah. Who cares if it's corny? Who cares if people around the league laugh at it? But if the fans themselves absolutely love it,
Yeah.
they're going to get into it. I mean, the first time they did Riggies and we had like getting riggy with it and stuff like that, it was a
Mm-hmm.
blast. Like you said, commit to the bit. I fully support that.
And I've said just MILB, minor league baseball, I think does it the best. Uh, these teams all get like 5 different things throughout the year. You know, they got their Hispanic night, they get their alternate local jersey. Um, the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, they're the Double A affiliate for the Mets. They just announced one of
Okay.
their alternates. Do you want to know what they're going to be? They're going to be the Binghamton Spicy Meatballs. You know what their logo is? It's a meatball with sauce on a fork for those games. Like
Yes.
that is committing. That is
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna do this. We know it's a gimmick. It's gonna get some people really excited. It's gonna be like, oh, why are we doing another round of these from crotchety old timers?
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm a Yankees fan, diehard through and through. Um,
Ugh.
I Syracuse salt potatoes. I'd love a jersey. The spicy meatballs. Kind of want one. I saw another team that's announced their rebranding for a couple games named after their like grounds crew's head's dog or like the bat dog for the team. Um, I think it's the Double A affiliate for the Yankees are rebranding as like the Retrievers for a few games, so they're gonna have like a golden retriever logo. Honestly, you have the Rocket City
Okay.
Trash Pandas. It is a raccoon in a garbage can with rockets attached to it. There are
Yes.
great,
Yes.
just that's it. It's a meme. Nobody cares. Uh, it,
If you're gonna do
yeah,
it, have fun with it and screw what anyone else says. Like, I understand that there is a bit of a stigma against gimmick games in Utica. Because and it's all stems back to the Mississauga game, the St. Patty's Day Mississauga game. That's what this all stems back to, and the stigma against these gimmick games, and why some people just don't like them and don't want us to do them. I know we know a couple of them
hmm
personally. My only thing to say to that whole thing, get over it. Let us have fun.
I want this league to commit to it, take like run with the Riggy thing, and do a local cuisine weekend for the league. Like I want the Baltimore Blue Crabs. I want the Texas briskets. I want the Kansas City burnt
Yes.
ends. The St. Louis ribs. I don't know what they have in San Diego, but I'm sure you got some kind of fish sandwich or something. Or
You could find something.
the San Diego taco trucks. You know, give me something goofy and fun that will get me. Yeah, I'm excited to go and root for the team, but you do it right and you're just printing money for your organization.
They are apparently known for their fish tacos, burritos, and
Okay.
donuts. So you could find
Yeah.
something. But yeah, that actually sounds really. The San Diego Surf and Turf. I don't know, something like that.
The Milwaukee Brats.
Like, yeah.
Like every team
Or,
plays gets a cuisine game.
or we finally get two teams to commit to one gimmick for one weekend. Utica Club versus Milwaukee's
Yeah.
Best. Done. Best gimmick
Like I
ever.
said, I brought my Utica jersey, the Utica Club one we made, and I showed it to someone
Yep.
with a lot of sway in the organization. And he snapped photos. He wanted to show it to Ash. Wanted to like, yeah, we should do this. It looks good. Here's an idea we can run with. The hard work's been done. The creativity's finished.
Yeah. Like, if we could get both teams to commit to that for one game, one weekend in Utica next season, be the coolest thing ever. Or even a home and away
yeah.
series. Like, that would be so cool for both our fans and theirs. It would get butts in seats, and that's the ultimate goal for these organizations. Yeah. Butts and seats.
Yeah, butts and seats and eyes on the games, on streams.
Yes.
Broadcasts on Galazzo.
God, that sounds so much fun. I want that now.
Yeah, it would be a lot of just. Come on, you're telling me you wouldn't want to have like a halftime beer chug contest with Das Boot at the end of it? That'd be hilarious.
I don't think they'd be able to do that on the field because they wouldn't want to spill beer everywhere.
You could put it up on the stage. You could put it in the concourse.
Yeah. Put it in the beer garden.
Put it in 72.
Yes.
It's not.
We are the idea machine. Just
look. We'll be
we'll be your outside consultants.
I don't know if it doesn't look like he's in the chat tonight, Jack. But look, just somebody push us to the league as creative consultants. And then we can work as somebody
use
else.
Use up our ideas and then toss us to the side. I don't care.
Yeah, somebody else could be like a common sense department because that's also missing. But it's a different conversation for a different day.
Yes, it is.
And it's not as lacking in this league as it is in some others.
Should we get back to talking about this weekend?
We should. Jersey's lackluster. Let's go all out. I mean, Tommy's wearing a Lucky Charms shirt in the promotions for it.
Yes.
It looks goofy, and I love it.
Yeah. So do I. I think it's awesome.
Could have gone. There were comments in there like, "Can't we get Tommy's? Why isn't that our jersey?"
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, obviously we're not getting the Lucky Charms piece, but I was in the same boat. Like that. God, that looks good. Can we have that?
The Utica City pot of gold. That is what Utica City green beers.
Those make you sick.
Don't drink. Predictions.
Fair.
I guess we should wrap it up with predictions. So,
all right, which one we
doing
doing
Saturday,
first?
Down at Baltimore. You could take this one first.
Am I leading this off?
I'm going to lead off
the home. You're going to do that. Oh, okay. I see how it is. So, couple of caveats to this one. Number one, roster. If we want to, I personally believe that if we want a chance at winning this game, we need Vinny, we need Gordy, bad for this one. You know, they There's not going to be any, it's not going to be like home field where it was in Utica, and we can, really try and help surge these guys forward. And the last time we played them, we had Calvin, and we won at home. So this is going to be a tough one. The last time we were in Baltimore, we lost badly.
And they are 7-0 at home.
Yes, they are. Now, they're also coming off of a lot of losses, like you said, 5 of 6, something around there. And they're all away games. So this is going to be sort of their homecoming game. And they're going to want to win it. And if, the mentality and the frustration that, was expressed by at least, a couple of the players was anything to go by, yeah, they're going to be hungry. So if we don't have a solid roster, I'm gonna lay on the idea that maybe we have Vinny. At minimum. I think if we don't have our crap together for this game, it's gonna be like a 8-4 Baltimore. So running off of the information that we have now, who we had this past weekend, that's what I'm going with.
Okay.
I think we potentially drop this game only because of who travels. I want to be proven wrong. I want to see our full roster, or at least the majority of our roster, go down for this game, and I want to be proven wrong.
Okay. So here's where I am on this. I would rather send the B squad to Baltimore. They're 7-0 at home. You got embarrassed 10-4, 10-5, whatever the last time you were down there.
10-4.
They just have such an advantage on that small field. And you have a game the next day.
Yes.
I'd
true.
send the B squad. I don't like throwing games, and I'm not saying I'm throwing this one, but I'm not expecting to get out of there with points. I don't think this team will do that, though. I do think they send the best that they have available.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
Try to run the B squad at home.
As it was proven that it works down in Harrisburg.
I'm going to say 9-6 Baltimore.
Ooh. All right, so you have a smaller spread than me. Sweet. That means if they don't score 9 goals or something like that, then I win.
Yeah, we are tied at 9-9.
Yes, we are.
Saturday. I'm sticking to Sunday. We come back home. Less than 24 hours later. It's a St. Patrick's Day. As far as gimmick games go, you mentioned some people hate them because the team seems to lose. And we are technically 1-3 on 1-4 if you want to include the first year where we got into it with banning Milwaukee's best in Utica.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to include that one, we are
1-4
on gimmick games. I'm going to say that luck continues. Plus, it's tough travel, tough team. And you barely escaped Harrisburg with a win. It took a come-from-behind victory in the final 20 minutes. And I said it last time, this is a trap game. I expect Utica to lose at least one to Harrisburg this season. I'm picking this one. Harrisburg, 6-5. The look on your face.
Pain. I mean, okay. 2 things that I'm thinking of straight off the bat. Number 1, we haven't lost to Harrisburg in 2 seasons. 2.5, counting this one. Regardless of who we sent to them or played against them. That being said, we also just saw our depth squad perform against them, and did fairly well. Now, a lot of the problems that they had were rough terrain. Watching that ball bounce like it did down there, oh my goodness. Like, if there was so many times when it's like, boy, if they had just been able to settle that, which if it was on the softer turf up in our neck of the woods, it would have been settled and it would have been in a couple of times. But the opposite was also true. There was a couple that, some of that they could have settled that they couldn't, or they tried to settle and they couldn't, and Harrisburg couldn't get in the goal either. So it's double-edged sword. So we've seen the B squad perform. It's Utica at home on a Sunday afternoon. If we come in with a win from the day before, which I'm not expecting, but if we do, that's gonna, make the crowd pretty rowdy. But it's also going to be St. Patty's Day, so they're going to be rowdy anyway because alcohol. Long explanation. I think we win this one. I think we continue the trend of winning against Harrisburg, especially because, from the looks of it, they're at least down one of their top 5, which is Malcolm Harris. So that is one core piece. I would expect to see Pat Healy on the field again. And I'm going to say... I almost said the same score. I almost said 7-5. I am going to go 6-4. I'm going to go 2-point spread. Not that it matters because you have us losing. Like a bum.
Yeah, it's a gamble on my part. Absolutely. But this late in the season, we got 6 games left. One of us has got to try to pull away.
Oh, I know.
And I will happily be proven wrong.
Of course, just like me on Saturday. I want to be proven wrong. Anytime we predict that Utica's going to lose, we want to be wrong. I heard that.
That wasn't me, that was her.
I know.
But it's going to make me...
peanuts.
Yeah.
I didn't see it happen. I won't do it.
Reading until 3 a.m. Get one day off, and I'm like, you know what? I can stay up to read. It's fine.
Sleeps till 11 o'clock. Is that a wrench?
Yeah.
Why do you have a wrench?
My kit was in my chair earlier. It must have fallen out, and it was just sitting here, and I've been fiddling with it for a while.
All right. Well, we got predictions in.
10 millimeter.
We're both
the
saying
one that always goes missing.
We're both expecting that we're gonna come out of Harrisburg, Baltimore with no points, and I say we win St. Patty's Day.
All right. Yeah.
Solid.
It's gonna be everything. Unless there's anything in the chat anyone wants to talk about, quick, ask us questions, throw something out. Otherwise, you guys know where to find us. I'm gonna get around to making a blue sky. I made one for myself today. I just don't have the motivation to do too much. I know I keep falling behind on getting the audio out. I know, shame on me, but I found a faster way to do it, and it just means I have to wait 24 hours for the YouTube video to finish.
Yep.
I don't know what happened last week. I had it recording in Skype, but it only saved the first 18 minutes of it. So, and my computer crashed when I was converting it, so I thought that was the issue, why I only got 18. So I re-downloaded it, and I waited another hour for it to convert, and it was still 18 minutes.
Well, we also know that Skype's kind of at the end of its rope at this point, so that's also potentially a problem.
I think it might have been the whole I had to run away to save someone from a spider, and you ended the call, so it didn't actually close out recording on my end. It probably went to the last time I had like Skype as the main item on my screen.
That would make sense. So you're blaming me?
No, I'm blaming someone who's got arachnophobia. She can't hear you. Brandon says...
I wasn't... Saturday. Baltimore Suns. What? Baltimore Suns a game to Harrisburg. What are you talking
Like if we play Baltimore and Harrisburg, we win. Otherwise, we're not winning at Baltimore.
Oh,
That's what he's
okay.
saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll try to get the audio out as fast as I can. It's been a rough month. Somebody has to feed all the National Guard that are covering. And it's, yeah, a lot of extra hours, a lot of.
I get it. I get it. What he's trying to say is we'll get it out.
Yeah,
we promise.
it might not
we'll
be in the most timely manner. Yeah. And I'm sorry.
So that means you just got to be here live to hang out with us.
Do it anyway. You get to interact.
Yeah, exactly.
You get to see our shenanigans. I mean, Brandon's built for video, but I know I have a face meant for audio and a voice meant for handwritten.
Sorry, I have a face for radio, so
I was trying to compliment you there, fool.
I don't
slipping
want it.
into a
take it back. Return it.
This is problematic. That's usually a sign I'm pretty tired.
Go to bed.
I plan on it. I'm gonna do that right after this.
Anyway.
Yep. So someone's got anything in the chat? You know where to find us on the social medias. Give us a like here, subscribe. The more subscribers we get, the more people, the more comments, the more it'll show up and suggested for other people that are soccer fans or MASL fans. Brandon's got his own social media, which if he wants to plug, he can.
I mean, I just got my...
You could just look for
my... Yeah, KCP Brandon. I'm around. I may not be the most active on Instagram or X, but Facebook... Actually, I'm not really active at all, but I do respond to people, and I do post periodically, so... But yeah, it's basically just KCP Brandon. KCP Brandon everywhere.
Keepers Corner Podcast Brandon. Got it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm going to get us a blue sky at some point. We are on Threads as well. Not that that gets anything that's not on Instagram or Facebook because Meta's all tied together. I'm trying to get to a point where I can close out X.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
I don't like every time I post something being like, do you want to promote this? No, I don't want to give you any money. I'm good, thank you.
It's my money.
And I don't have enough of it. You should give me money for continuing to use this site. That's everything from us. As always, go Utica. And Brandon, you got something you want to say. I know it. Thank you for listening to the Keeper's Corner podcast on whatever podcast app you use. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. If you'd like to interact with us, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Twitter or X, whatever you prefer to call it. We have a TeePublic shop where you can get UCFC player swag or help support the podcast. Thank you. We appreciate it. And one last thing, go Utica City.